We're recording. Everything's recording. We're live. Yeah. Not live, but I just listened to some of Trent Reznor's Hesitation Marks songs off of YouTube, of course. How do they make money? They don't make any money. So I'm all fired up from doing that. And it was like, I did a live video on our network, on our political network, just about 20 minutes ago. And it was a really good video. I was happy with it. And the people who watched were really happy about it. And I was like, all right, I want to do just another Delirious episode, right? Zach Kay Delirious. Part 3. What if I did follow in Jackson Pollock's footsteps? If you haven't watched the videos before this, I talk about Jackson Pollock and how I admire his artistic capabilities. And I said in the video, I'm like, he was crazy though, and he was. Like, there's a movie where Ed Harris plays him as a character, and I mean, the guy was he was not healthy mentally. He had serious mental health issues. But my goodness, did he make some amazing paintings, right? And I said this in one of the last videos, but like one painting sold for like $140 million. Give me a break. Can you just imagine that type of money? I have soda tonight. Last night I didn't have soda, and I bitched about it all night. Bitched about being addicted to soda and how ridiculous it is. It tastes so damn good. And if you're addicted to it, it's a guaranteed weight gainer. It's just extra weight. And you have to be super tough with your dieting if you want to drink a lot of soda. And judging by my second chin, I'm not winning that battle. That's alright. I'll win it eventually. One day my dream will come. That's a good line, right? From Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx, where he calls him out in the cab, right? He's like, look in the mirror. Because Jamie Foxx called him out on how he's a sociopath, basically. And then Cruise comes back at him. His character Vincent comes back at him and says, "You're delusional. You think that you getting." Spoiler alert. Sorry. If you want to watch it, go watch it, or skip ahead 30 seconds if you've seen it or whatever. But a little bit of a spoiler alert. Cruise says, you think you're gonna get this dream and you're hypnotized by TV during the day, and you have this big dream, but you're never going to do anything for it. You're never going to, just start to take the steps there, and you're delusional. And I forget why I went on a jag about that, but I don't know. It's a good scene. It looks like I'm drinking a Black Russian in a water glass. That's intense. Yeah, but one thing I did want to talk about was Trent Reznor and just his music. God, it's so good. And I have a friend who thinks he was much better when he was kind of crazier. I can't think of the names off the top of my head. The Fragile and Head Like a Hole. Which are all, I like both of his styles. I like when he was crazy, and I love when he's really spiritual, right? He speaks about the human condition, and how he experiences it. That's what he makes music about these days. And just deep concepts, and because the guy was an addict. and it was either die or get better. And so he became a former addict, and now the dude's smart because he went rock bottom, and he made it out of it. And that's what happens when you go rock bottom and you survive. You freaking become super smart. It's a huge experience. Like, you just gain a lot of wisdom. It always looks like I'm like picking my ear. I'm not picking my ear on these videos. I'm scratching my head. Or scratching behind my ear. I assure you, I am delirious, but I'm not delirious enough to put a finger in my ear in front of an audience. It's disgusting. We have a big show tomorrow night. Tonight's Friday, by the way. It's Friday the 2nd of November, 2018. 10:53, 7 to the hour. Ow. Ooh. You know, it would be cool if I did get a big audience. And, my brand, my name, if that got big. I heard, like, Joe Rogan on his podcast talk about, like, people would come up to him and be like, oh, man, I love what you've done with your brand. And Joe's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, I'm just talking to people. And I love doing it. And I just became successful because, it was a business. Or, whatever. Man, Joe Rogan is so funny. He's such a talented comedian. They say that this is the golden age of comedians, of stand-up comedy. I agree with that. There's so many people that are talented. I mean, I don't I don't watch a lot of different comedians, but I do respect the level of talent that's in that pool right now. I mean, Hinchcliffe, Seguras, Christina Pazitsky, Rogan, Brian Callen, Whitney Cummings, Nikki Glazer, and it's weird. Like, I feel a connection to that whole community, because I bet one reason why is because you get to like really see what they're like. These are people who are exposing themselves and their thoughts and their feelings, like almost on a daily basis to a huge audience all over social media and iTunes. And so, I bet a lot of people feel that way. Like, they feel a connection to these people. Because you don't see like a Tom Hanks or a Julia Roberts, you don't ever see them off the big screen, right? So you don't know what they're like. You don't know how they think. But with these comedians, they just lay everything on the table for you and just constantly put up content, and you get to see what they're like and how they joke around and they're goofy. So you feel a connection to them. I sent Nikki Glazer. She is I first saw her on Your Mom's House podcast, then I saw her on Rogan. And soon after on Your Mom's House, I checked her out, looked at her website, and she had like a contact me where she's like, you can try contacting me directly, but I don't know if I'll answer. She's like, take a shot if you want, and I did. I took a shot, and I was really excited, and I wrote a very exciting message just telling her she's awesome, and I said some decent stuff of like, you gotta pat yourself on the back sometimes and realize how cool you are. And she wrote back, and she said, I appreciate this message. She goes, I appreciate it. You keep doing what you're doing too. And she was, there was exclamation points, and she was obviously pleased by my message. Now, I recently sent her one more. I swear I'm not stalking her. Just one more. And there was intention behind it. I I want to give her a gift of um, one of my books, one of my ebooks. Yes, I'm an author, and you'll see promotion for that in the other videos on this channel. But I did the same thing with the Seguras. I sent them my first book that I ever wrote, an ebook. It's a self-help book and it focuses heavily on anxiety and how to deal with anxiety, which is obviously you're going to hear on other videos of mine. But I sent him a free copy and just said, "Hey, this is my gift to you guys. I'm a huge fan. I admire you guys." His Christina Segura, she struggles with anxiety sometimes, so I just like, here, maybe this will spark something in your mind. It'd be cool if they did respond and and that she read it or Tom read it, and it'd be really cool if it had an effect on them, and that they were like, this book was it helped me in this way or that way. I'd be like, whoa, that's awesome. That'd be very flattering. So I offered to send my other book to Nikki Glazer, and it's fine if she doesn't respond or whatever. And if she does respond, I'm like, yeah, send it to my agent, right? Because I said, you don't have to give me an email. I'm not an internet weirdo, but she doesn't know that. All she knows is I could be someone crazy, right? And I'm just like, can I, should I send it to your agent? And I even asked, I'm like, do you want to check this book out? I'm like, I'd love to send you this, because she's my age, I think a year younger, and she's like, she's at that stage in a person's life where they're starting to really question their mind and think really deeply and try and answer the big questions, right? She's kind of in that area, and this second book I wrote is a lot of intuition, where I combine my thoughts and intuition, and it's like original quotes, and there's some decent wisdom there. I'll pat myself on the back. I'm happy with some of the material, and I think it can affect people in a positive way. So I offered to send her that book. So, anyways. Oh, soda. Soda. That's another one, Bill Burr. Bill Burr is my favorite comedian. I think I can't say he's the best, because that's not fair. But he's certainly he's my favorite. I think he's definitely one of the best in the world. And he's my favorite. I could watch his stuff over and over and over. I have done that, because he's so freaking funny, and I love his restrained anger that he just lets out. He's like, what the fuck. He's just he has such, and you can just look at his posture. Look at the different muscles that are tight in his body. It just screams that he has such rage in him, and it's not that he's holding on to rage. It's just that his level, his capability of rage and temper snapping is significant. I think that's what makes him so creative and talented. And that's a whole nother conversation, right? Like the emotion being involved in creativity, right? His jokes, I don't know. It basically put emotions play a heavy role when it comes to creativity. Obviously, young people might not. It might be the first time they heard that. Most people my age have heard that, and older people are like, well, obviously. So who cares? Whatever. Zach Kay Delirious, 15 past the hour. Wife. I gotta get my brother and a couple of my cousins to watch these, because I think they would laugh. I grew up really in admiration of I was the youngest in the family, or at least in my mom's side. And on my mom's side, all the cousins and aunts and uncles and my grandparents, who are the parents of this whole family, um, there was a summer home that we had, and the whole family would go up there in the summers. And I was like 7 years old till like 14 is when that was my age of when we were going up every year, and everyone was older, and some of the cousins were in their mid-20s, so just full of party energy, right? They want to drink, they want to go out, they want to play drinking games, and I have memories of me just sitting in the other room listening to how crazy fun they were having, and I'm like playing a board game. I'm like, this sucks. But eventually, I did get to go in there, but not multiple years. It sucked. We stopped going to that house when I was in high school, I think. I don't remember. But I grew up in admiration of them, like, because I wanted to have the fun they were having. And I actually talked about it in my book, and I think one key thing is they weren't doing like serious drugs. They were just drinking, and just having a blast. And they never argued. They always had fun. No one like got in each other's faces at all. It was always polite. And they were just nice people having a great time. And as I grow older and more comfortable being in my own skin, and it's pretty easy these days, but I struggled with, like, I had to deal with anxiety and depression, and that kind of distanced my life from theirs. And sometimes they would get, like, my anxiety was so bad that they became uncomfortable around me, and they got used to that, so they didn't know how to behave around me. And not all the time, but sometimes, like, they would, it's understandable when you're dealing with someone who has like crippling anxiety. It's uncomfortable to be around them or interact with them. It's uncomfortable. And I would see it, like, when I was deep in my anxieties, I'd see their uncomfortability. It would just double my problem. It would just double my anxiety in every time. Oh, it's even worse now. And now I don't care, right? Anxiety is easy. So, and how it goes. Like, some people in your past, you don't care. I don't need to dig up all my old relationships that failed because of my anxieties. I don't need to. But there are a handful of people in the family and some friends that I want to rekindle that relationship that I had before when I was, very extroverted. And specifically these cousins of mine, this family. And there's a part of me that doesn't care, and I don't need to have their relationship, but I think they're really interesting, or not interesting, but cool people. I think they're cool people, and I think they have the same type of humor that I do. I think they find the similar things funny. I think they find some similar things interesting. And I mean, yeah, I have to deal with them being sometimes uncomfortable around me. But I think the more and more, well, as I've gotten more and more comfortable around them, so yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. Burping. So this is going to be one of those times where I'm going to go have a cigarette, and I'm going to leave it recording because I don't want to cut up the videos. I don't feel like doing that. Disclaimer, I'm not a super tech savvy guy. Yes, I can do some things, and I'm not poor at it, but I'd rather just upload a whole 40-minute video. I'd rather do that. All right, I'll be right back. Twelve past the hour. Let's see. I think that was like 3 minutes, almost 4. Sorry about that. Gotta deal with it. I'm a smoker. But I do not smoke inside. Isn't it stupid? Like the crackdown on YouTube for people to make money. Like it's harder and harder. It's such horseshit. Google owns it. I mean, I don't know. I wonder if Google has enough money. Let's just put it that way. Do they have a lot of money? Yeah, kinda. Jesus. I guess I'm gonna wear hats in most of my videos now. I should be showing off my blonde hair. That kind of is like a white flag. A surrender flag. I should say that. If I say white flag, I'm going to be called racist. Jesus. Political correctness. Stupidness. Well, some of it is stupid. Some of it's acceptable. All right, well, I'll wind down this clip. It's been 25 minutes, and I'm kind of running out of things to say to talk about. Man, how does Rogan do a 3-hour podcast with just whoever? I mean, what's he on? He's on like episode 1200. And his podcasts are super long. He'll do huge stretches. And right now I'm 26 minutes in. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to talk about anymore. And, when you do these videos, it's like, there's nothing planned. There's no prep. And maybe I should do some prep and discourse about, specific things. But, this is kind of like the idea of this series is more about just letting my thoughts come out there as long as they're appropriate. Not to say I have a lot of inappropriate thoughts, but I can't share everything, I think. Some of it's private. Some of it's got my own touch of craziness to it. You know what I mean. I've had such a weird life. I've never come across anyone who's had a life like mine. I mean, I don't know. I guess I have recently, like, with contributing to the communities out there on, like, Facebook of, like, anxiety support groups. Some of the people in there are dealing with the stuff that I went through of just, like, being crippled by anxiety and facing suicidal depression. And I mean, I can, like, their experience, I had those experiences for stretches of time. I should mention my age again. I'm 34. But 17 years old to 20 years old, I was full of anxiety and depressed. And then just dealing with getting better and better at the symptoms throughout my 20s and of anxiety and sometimes just severe anxiety. And then I got into the new age thing, and I was way off balance, and got delusional with shit. Like anxious problems I would label as something spiritual. A lot of people do that. A lot of people will take simple problems and exaggerate the crap out of them in their mind. It just becomes so delusional. I have a friend who has schizophrenia, and he's an example of that. Now, don't get me wrong. My heart goes out to the guy, and he's actually his schizophrenia is not that bad. He can handle social situations, and but he is depressed these days for religious reasons. But because of his struggles, and because with the things I understand about schizophrenia and the symptoms of schizophrenia and what it's like, because I've studied in those areas, he misinterprets his symptoms, and he puts a spirituality type label on them, and he just makes them 5 times bigger. Now, if you're watching this, who I'm talking about, dude. I love you to pieces. I promise I will never say your name. I would never say your name. I wouldn't dox you like that. So, and don't worry, I won't really talk about you that much. He wouldn't like it to be in the public eye. He probably wouldn't really enjoy these videos anyways. Me and him are so different. I don't know, maybe I should talk about him more. He is a close friend. There's obviously, I bet I can come up with decent content about it. And comments. I don't know. Me and him have debated consistently for the past 5 years. Just hardcore debating. And we would do it at a Starbucks to start, right? The first couple years we were friends. We would go to a Starbucks and just be... I mean, we weren't rude to each other, but we would be in heated debates. Like, and everyone in Starbucks would hear it. It'd be like about religion, mental health, real hardcore issues. I'd talk about some conspiracy theories. I'd talk about sociopathic people and what they do, and like the power elite and how crazy they are. And you know what? This isn't going to be a conspiracy theory show. I do believe in some, like a couple conspiracy theories, because I think there's a good weight behind them, but I'm certainly not going to hash that out in these videos, because it's a never-ending rabbit hole. Not in terms of the information that you learn from it, but the debates. I mean, some people, even if it slapped them in the face, that, you know, like some leader that they adore, and it, you know, and behind the scenes the guy's crazy, and that fan, that follower of him, I mean, they would go to their grave sometimes just staying a fan of his, even if they found out the guy murdered someone. They'd be like, no, I don't believe it. This is false. You know, basically the flaw of perception, right? The human flaw of being unable to let go of your beliefs. That's what it is. I'm not picking my ear. I'm scratching my head. Man, these videos are fun. By the way, I'm going to be doing videos with that other YouTube girl I was talking about in one of my other videos. Her handle is Joy Sparkle BS. I do have the okay to say that. We're going to do some videos together. She's a good friend of mine. And it's funny. Like, I'm probably going to get quite a few subscribers from her. So, alright, whatever. I'll have an audience. I don't need millions of people. If I get 500, that'd be cool. That'd be fun. I'm going to watch Master and Commander after this. The Far Side of the Sea. That's a good movie. Should I do spoilers? Alright, I'm wrapping this video up. Good job listening. Good job out there. 22 past the hour. Whoa. Whoa. Listen to this synchronicity. It's 11:22 p.m. The date is 11/2. Yeah, that's it. That's decent synchronicity. That's a good one. Should I like just stop the video like Trent Reznor and his songs? Nothing can stop. That's what he does. It's his style. He always just cuts the song off. Shout out to Trent Reznor.